Welcome back to the third episode of Har-Ber On-Air. I'm Megan Killen.
And I'm Trey Rutledge. Har-Ber On-Air is a production made by students for students. This week, we had the opportunity to get an inside look at Har-Ber's fall theater production and meet one of our new teachers.
There's also a new choir performance group we want to introduce you to. Let's get started with some announcements.
Students may be exempt from semester exams if you have outstanding grades, attendance, and behavior. It is important to begin monitoring your grades and attendance so you can qualify. Finals will be here before we know it.
Seniors, it is time to order your cap and gown. Scan this QR code to order without paying. You will be sent an invoice in January and your balance will need to be paid before you receive your cap and gown. You can also pay now using the link in the weekly announcements that are sent to your email from Dr. Greet.
Esports is now an after-school program and is free to join. Emailtabner@sdl.org if you are interested in joining or if you have any questions.
Calling all tech gurus, you can join the Technology Student Association. Membership dues are $15. You can email tabner@sdl.org for more information.
Hispanic students interested in attending NWAC may be eligible to compete in the Life Quiz on Friday, November 3rd. Fill out the form in the weekly announcements if you're interested, or email bwolf@sdl.org with questions.
In sports and other activities, on Monday, tennis starts at 6A state tournament and JV football plays Northside at Har-Ber. On Tuesday, volleyball plays Bentonville in the Wildcat Arena and tennis concludes their tournament.
No events are scheduled for Wednesday. On Thursday, volleyball plays at Northside and golf is at Pleasant Valley. Thursday also marks the end of the first quarter of the school year.
On Friday, varsity football takes on Bentonville West at Wolverine Stadium. The kickoff is at 7 p.m. Make sure to show up and support our Wildcats.
Looks like this week is going to be another busy one at Har-Ber. The Performing Arts Center is prepping for the fall show, and Har-Ber On-Air recently met with some members of the theater department to talk about their new production, Charlotte's Web. Take a look.
Recently, Har-Ber's theater department has been preparing for their annual fall performance. This year, the show is a story following a spider and a pig we've all known and loved for years, Charlotte's Web.
So it's the same story from the book from when you were in, second, third grade. Wilbur is a runt pig that was born and was going to be killed but was saved by Fern and goes through the process of growing and learning about what happens to pigs and makes friends through the process and is kind of going through the turmoil of will I survive or will I be kept alive for the rest of my life. I mean, the nostalgia is the best thing in the world. I mean, I love seeing shows that remind me of my childhood. And so everyone I know has read Charlotte's Web since the 50s. And it's been one of those books that's been read in schools for so long. And so by knowing the story, you come in with an idea of what you're expecting. And so the hope is that when you watch the show, you'll get that sense of nostalgia, but maybe something more than that nostalgia.
You're washing your face, or you're like, whatever you're doing.
I would have to say the family that the kids are going to build in the show is always a really powerful thing for me. I love watching the kids go from these new kids who are 10th graders who've never been in the program before that jump in on a show and audition and get cast, and then they become friends with all the kids who have been in the program for years. And so seeing that family grow, that's probably one of my favorite accomplishments from the show.
The cast, along with Mr. Terrell, have been going to great lengths to prepare for the show by building a unique set.
This web over here on the ground that we built, it's taken about 6 days to construct, and it is massive. It's 21 feet tall and 26 feet wide. It's huge. It'll be exciting to see what they think of when they see this massive spider web on the stage, and will it scare them or will they be excited to see it? Because some people are terrified of spiders. So when people walk in those doors and they see this massive spider web across the stage, they're gonna either freak out or be like, well, that's really cool. And I like to see that. I can't wait to see how people react to that.
Charlotte's Web is not only being benefited by the hard work and dedication of all of those involved, but also by the continuously growing friendships that already exist within the cast.
Like whenever you're like friends with the people in your cast and like you know them super well, it's easier to make like choices together and not so much like I'm doing my own thing all the time. Like I can be like talking with the goose or like talking with other people and like doing stuff like with them. So I play the sheep, and basically what the sheep is about is that he's like the eyes of the barn. Like he's been there the longest. He knows like everyone that's come in and out of the barn. And so he like knows all of the ropes that goes on. So this is actually a pretty rigorous preparation for this role. It's probably the most method I've ever went. You know, I like to eat and sleep on hay. I'm on an all hay diet. I wear wool all the time. And, you know, I walk on all fours whenever no one's looking, so that way I can really embody the sheep, you know, and I make sure I emphasize my baas.
This year's fall show is sure to be one of the best performances Har-Ber's theater department has ever put on. You can watch Charlotte's Web being performed in the PAC October 13th and 14th. Make sure to get your ticket. For Har-Ber On-Air, I'm Megan Killen.
Thanks, Megan. It's exciting to see theater working on another great production. After the break, we will introduce you to another new Har-Ber teacher in our Teacher Spotlight, so keep it here.
Hola a todos, soy Maribel Tapia y quiero compartirles algo que nos llena de orgullo. Únase a nosotros en esta increíble aventura de descubrimiento, inspiración y unidad en la tercera temporada de Cafecito y Charla. Los esperamos para celebrar juntos los nuevos episodios de esta temporada en Facebook Escuelas de Springdale, Spotlight Latino, Univisión y Telemundo Arkansas. Recuerda, yo soy Maribel Tapia y te espero para un Cafecito y Charla.
Welcome back to Har-Ber On-Air. Next up, we have another entry into our Teacher Spotlight series, which highlights one of the 30 new teachers at Har-Ber this year.
With all the new teachers here at Har-Ber, it's difficult to choose our next Teacher Spotlight. Today, we've chosen Mr. Hintertor, an AP History teacher.
I decided I wanted to come to Har-Ber because I'm friends with John Stewart, and he had brought to my attention that there were going to be some opportunities to teach AP here at Har-Ber. And I decided that I was ready for this move in my career. I've been teaching 12 years, so this is my 13th year teaching. And I wanted to have an opportunity to teach only AP classes. And I had heard great things about Har-Ber through him, and so that really motivated me to decide to take the jump and come to Har-Ber.
While also having a good relationship with Mr. Stewart, Mr. Hintertor also likes to build relationships with his students.
And what really drives teaching is the relationships that you have with the students. If you're not having the best relationships with students, then it makes it a little bit harder to get the outcomes that you want. And so those day-to-day interactions are the people you spend the most time with as a teacher. Those are really what motivates me the most, and that's really my barometer to determine whether I'm being successful or not. It's really driven by those relationships that you get to have with the students.
Along with his love for history, he also enjoys the challenge that comes along with advanced placement courses.
AP History is a challenge. It's a challenge to teach. You get really deep into the content, and so there's more deeper discussions that could possibly happen when you teach AP. And so that was really a driving motivation for me. I'm excited about being at Har-Ber. The staff's been really great that I get to work with, and I want to continue to build good relationships with students, and I know that over time I'll be able to continue to do that. So,
thank you so much for taking the time to share your story with us. For Har-Ber On-Air, I'm Mars McLeod.
Stick around for more Har-Ber On-Air in just a few.
Welcome back, Wildcats. Next, Har-Ber On-Air met with Jazzy Cats, a new choral group at Har-Ber. Here's Chloe Stone to tell us more.
Jazzy Cats, the new student-led jazz performance group here at Har-Ber, is set to hit all the right notes. This program is dedicated to providing a platform for talented students to express themselves through a variety of performances.
I didn't know anything about choir when I joined because this is my first year. So yeah, it was pretty fun. It's just like really wanting to be in it and really showing potential. It's just kind of like, it's a group and a way to get to know more people and really just connect with choir in a different way outside of like practice and practicing at home, and it introduces you to like a new kind of music. I really like it.
The club, while limited in space, is open to students with a variety of skills. Auditions were required and held earlier this year. Similar to other performance groups, selections are made by the students already in the group.
So personal experiences I've had with Jazzy Cats was definitely learning how to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. I never really go out of my way to audition for something, so this year was definitely me trying to go outside of my box, and Jazzy Cats was a perfect opportunity to do that, since I had to do auditions not only in front of our choir teacher but also in front of our group beforehand. So it was just a lot of learning how to be a little bit more confident in my skill and taking that chance, and it worked out for me.
The goal of the group is to create an environment where students feel like they can push themselves out of their comfort zone, all while pursuing the music they enjoy.
It started out as like a passion thing between me and Clara Houston, and from there we discussed with Mr. Brown, what it would take to start a jazz group. And at first we really only wanted it to be an SSAA female group, and then we realized that in order to make jazz chords we needed male voices as well. And so then we decided to be an 8-person group, and then we decided that we needed a bit more strength on the lower notes. So we added another bass to our groups and another soprano to help out with that middle harmony. And so from there we became a 10-person group, and with that it was just a matter of communicating with Mr. Brown and looking for music and really searching for those pieces.
Jazzy Cats is wasting no time in preparing for their first concert in the fall, although the plan is to eventually expand to local venues. The students can perform as a group or individually, depending on their piece.
I feel like overall with Jazzy Cats we are more like as a group led. We don't necessarily have any like particular leaders. I am in charge of the social media account though, and I do help a lot when it comes to delegating out positioning and rehearsal times and helping out with uniforms and finding pieces and such like that.
Jazzy Cats is bringing a new rhythm to Har-Ber. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Chloe Stone.
Thank you, Chloe, for telling us more about Jazzy Cats. As we close out the show today, we had the chance to compete in the Ozark Media Arts Festival in downtown Springdale last week. Our convention recap won first place. Congratulations to Har-Ber On-Air's Aiden Curlin, Alexander Jarrett, Aiden Harp, and Megan Killen.
Arts Festival is an incredible opportunity for students to meet other students, to meet industry professionals, to learn from them, to get hands-on with equipment, hands-on with experience in the field of media arts that they want to be part of. The Ozark Media Arts Festival, their mission is to connect education to industry. That means pulling together the incredible advisors, all of their students, and allowing an opportunity for industry professionals who have gone on before these students and to reconnect. Show them it's possible. There is a way to make an incredible career in these industries.
I heard about the Ozark Festival at the Fort Smith International Film Festival, and they're really just connecting students to the film world, getting opportunities out for students to get their films done and made and out into the world. And so my impression was I got to be there, because that's one of the biggest things that is important to make sure that filmmakers know how to get their films done, get equipment, make connections, network, start going to these film festivals, because it's the biggest thing we do as filmmakers is connecting and networking.
I especially like going around the booths and seeing like what kind of like job opportunities I could like use this for, and seeing the ways that like this stuff can be implemented. A big part of OMAF is just like the cooperation and like the building of connections, and it's just been like kind of eye-opening, like just to see how everybody views things.
You can go work for the military, you can work for a private production company, you can work for a local news program, or start your own business. There's a whole host of things. Just don't limit yourself. Think of where your passion lies. If it's something you enjoy, go for it.
That's all for this week's episode of Har-Ber On-Air. We hope you enjoyed it.
Before we go, we have recently had some renovations made to our studio, and we want to thank Coach Simpson and his construction classes for reconstructing our platform and installing the carpet.
A very special thanks to Michelle at Carpets Plus Color Tile for donating the new carpet.
If you have a story you would like to see featured on the show, message us on Instagram or email Miss Hamilton at thamilton@sdale.org. Follow our Instagram at Har-Ber Wildcat TV. See you next time. I'm Megan Killen.
I'm Trey Rutledge. Have a great week, Wildcats.